Recording in progress.
All right. Good morning, everybody.
Okay,
Just make sure I'm not on mute. And I'm not. Okay. All right. Today is Daf Lamed Zayin. Maseches Gittin. We were talking yesterday about Prusbul. So we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 lines from the top on Lamed Zayin Amud Aleph. Shem will get to the bottom today. So Amar Rav Yehuda, Amar Shmuel, Yisayim, orphans, ein tzrichen prusbul. They do not need a prusbul. Why is that? That orphans do not need a prusbul. Why? Because Beis Din and Reb Gamliel, and he was the head of the Beis Din, they all, they're basically like the fathers, the collectors for orphans. And when we give over a prusbul, right, we give the power of the Beis Din, so the Beis Din is already in power for the Yisayim, so therefore there's no prusbul required. And Tan Hassam, we learn over there in Kaisin Prusbul Ella Ala Karka. You only write a prusbul if there is land on the on the loan. In other words, if the borrower, right, we'll use me and Alan again today, right? This way, hopefully, we'll keep Alan the entire time. Normally, it's totally early. I know it's Thursday, right? So, yeah. So we say that normally that Alan will only loan me basically because I have I have some sort of real estate, some sort of security for him to be able to eventually collect. So therefore, which is the normal way. So therefore, since that's the normal case, therefore the prusbul is only ala karka. And if he doesn't have it, then maskub right? Kolshu, then the Alan will say, you don't have any land, so why don't you take a little bit of land, that you own on my property, and therefore now I can go ahead and write a prusbul on it. But kama kolshu, how much is any amount? Even like a little small little patch of carobs, right? Of cabbage, right? Then right, cabbage, right? Red cabbage. Right, so even cabbage. So we say, thank you. So therefore, that is even enough land, right? Because we saw also, even if the land is less than the loan, right? We saw earlier, right? You borrow on it, and then that's he redeems the land, and you go ahead and recollect it until basically you get the entire amount back. And Amar Rav Yehuda Afilu Heshilu Makam L'Tanur L'Kirayim Kaisen L'Pruza. Even if he just lends them a space. Right, in the oven or the kirayim, which are basically affixed into the ground, then he created a prusbul on that. That's considered to be ala karka. So Gemara says, "I aini vatani hillel and kaisen prusbul elal atzitz nakuf." Right, only something. Right, let's say an object. Let's say a flower pot which has a hole in the bottom. There's a hole in the bottom because it's actually attached to the earth. Right, the ground to ground. Bavad, so bavad nakuf in shena nakuf love. But it sounds like something which is not. Right, does not have a hole, it's not attached to the ground, so this would not work. So kirayim and tanur. So I understand, but it's in this place. So even if there's no hole in the bottom, you just said any place on the ground, right? It should be okay. So the answer is no. In that case, the manach over there that was like on pegs. Since it was on pegs elevated, you might think that is not considered to be ala karka, but it is because since there's a hole in the bottom. Right, so and therefore it does get some nutrients from the underneath it because it's open from the bottom. So therefore, even though it's raised above the ground, it's still considered to be ala karka lagabi to write a prusbul on that. And Rav Ashi maknile gidmi the dikla, right? He gave over that he lent out money and he gave basically the a stump from a palm tree. Because of Allah, prusbul upon that. And Rabbanan debei Rav Ashi masri milayla dadi. They would just basically tell their words over, right? They wouldn't even write it in a shtar. They would do it verbally, right? That which is written in a prusbul. And Rabbi Yonasan masri milay Rabbi Chia bar Ravi. He also one time he gave over, right? He gave basically a verbal prusbul to Rabbi Chia bar Abba. Samalei tzrich amidi achrin. Do I need anything else? Samalei lo tzrich. No, you don't need anything. You are good to go. And Tadar Rabbanan ein lo karka. He doesn't have any money or any land, excuse me. But let's say the co-signer. All right, Avrami co-signer for me. Yesh lo karka. He has land. Kaisen lo prusbul. He create prusbul based upon the Arev. And lo will Arev in lam karka. But if he or the Arev does not have a karka, however, lo chayiv lo yesh lo karka. But let's say Yigal owes me money. So, but me or Avrami, right, don't own land, right? And we don't own land, and therefore we can't write a prusbul. But if someone who owes me money has land, Then what? Then because of a prusbal. Rabbi Nassan. Okay, Rabbi Nassan. The Tanya Rabbi Nassan. We learned that we learned on the Brisa. Rabbi Nassan.
You need the proof.
Right.
So, not about.
No. What do you mean? Yeah. No. I could write a.
Right.
I owe Alan money. Right?
Right.
So Alan wants to be able to collect. So he could write a prusbal because what's the thing with karka? Karka is like it's almost like it's already collected. It's already sort of secure since it's already starting to be collected. Therefore, you can write a prusbal and say, by the way. Right, so it cannot be collected. So in order for his loan, I don't own land. I can't write a prusbal unless the borrower owes land. And you have land to give me, and my co-signer doesn't have land. But somebody owes me money, has land. Now Alan can write the prusbal. And where we know that from Nassan. So let's say I owe Alan $100 and Yigal owes me $100. So how do I know that Alan can just basically skip me and go to Yigal and say, I know you owe $100, but he owes me $100. So just give me the money. So if A owes B, right? A owes B and B owes C, right? Then C can collect from A. Right? So the limit over there is that he who basically is the one who is owed money, i.e., right, in that case, I guess Alan was the one who was out the money, he's allowed to go to that which is due to him. So Tanan Hasman over there, Hashvis Mishametes is Hamilber, Bein Bishtar, Bein Shaloi Bishtar. Shemitah goes ahead, and what types of loans does Shemitah cancel? Right, it cancels a loan, whether it was on a document, it was a documented loan I took from Alan, or it was no. What is it? Was Bein Bishtar, Bein Shaloi Bishtar means? Machlokas. I'm right. Rav and Shmuel, Rav and Shmuel say, and one side they say the b'shtar sheyesh. What does it mean b'shtar? What does it mean that which is document? B'shtar sheyesh b'achrayis nechasim. Right? It means it's a loan document which says, "Hey, I'm borrowing $100. If I don't pay you, then it's secured by this piece of land." And shelo b'shtar. And what does it mean that a loan not in a shtar is what's it called? Is right? No, that's also canceled, right? What kind of shtar is that? That means the not a shtar means she'ein b'achrayis. In other words, I'm borrowing $100 from Alan. If I don't pay him, you get my bicycle. How and kol shekain, and so that is canceled. Mm-hmm. And kol shekain certainly. Milval pes. Certainly, if I just borrow I borrow $100 from Alan without if I borrow money from Alan and there is no shtar at all, certainly that's canceled. So basically, according to Rav and Shmuel, every type of loan is canceled, whether it's whether it's on a shtar, whether it's secured by land or movable objects, or even just a verbal, all those are canceled. However, what does it mean b'shtar? That's canceled. It means shtar sheba achrayis. Right? Shtar means, a shtar that's only says that if I don't pay you back, you can get my bicycle, but nothing to do with land. Right? And Shelo b'shtar, without a shtar, means that you loan me money, milval peh. That means you loan me, it was just a verbal, it was a loan. Aval shtar sheyesh b'achrayis techasim, but a shtar, if there was a loan that if I don't pay him back, he can go ahead and collect it from my land. Such a loan does not get canceled by Shemitah. You don't even need a prusbal. It doesn't get canceled because since it's land, it's in existence. It's there for the collecting. It's secured, right? So therefore, but only land collateral is not. That's according to them. And Tani Kvasi Rabbi Yechon Rabbi Shimon Lakish shtar chayv. A shtar chayv is mishamit. Right? A shtar chayv is normally canceled. However, if it is secured by real estate, then eino misham. Then it is not canceled at all. And Tani, you have another brayso. Saimlos, so the achas bavasa. Right? Let's say I say, you know what, this specific field in the loan, eino misham. It does not get canceled. The loan is not canceled. Load. Not only that, ella filu kasav kol nechsay akrin varavin lecha. Even if he doesn't specify which one, but he says all my nechasim, you can go ahead and use my nechasim, right, to collect the loan. If I don't pay you back, then it is not canceled. So krivid rabasi havi
okay. So a prusbal works if it's a loan that is secured by land.
Mm-hmm. We've had different shitas here. One shita is that if it's secured by land, you don't even need a prusbal. We saw earlier that only a loan, right, with land can be used with a prusbal. So it was different opinions in the matter.
Okay, but now we're saying that if a loan is secured by personal property.
You don't.
Without the lien,
Yes,
According to who?
then you can't even write a Bruce Board.
that was Robin Shmuel. That was Robin. That was the first opinion. That was the first
Say
opinion.
you can't burn a couple, you said you can't, it's Shemitah cancelled. We're not talking about a crucible.
No, in this case over here,
We're
it's not.
talking about what
Right.
Shemitah canceled.
Right.
Haven't mentioned crucible.
So my plague asks whether it cancels it or not.
Oh, okay.
Case dismissed.
Yes.
So now, so what happened in this case? Krive, so the relatives, the Rabasi, Habileu Shtara, they had a certain document that they want to go ahead and collect. Havikasav Be'achrayas Nechasim. That on there, it was secured by land. So also come in Rabasi, Amalei. Does Shemitah cancel this loan or not? It does not get canceled. You're good to go. So Shavke said that the Vasla come into Rabbi Yechon, Samalei, Meshamit. This is the problem when you ask again. Somebody else does it, Meshamit. So they asked him. He says it is canceled, even though it's secured by land. So also Rabasi, had to tell us. So he came before the Rabbi Yechon. So Amalei, Meshamit. He says it's going to cancel or not. So Amalei, Meshamit. It gets canceled. You said does not get canceled. Another limud. No, even though yes, we learned that Mishnah is over there in the Masechah Shvis, right? That if something secured by real estate does not get canceled, that might have been shot in that price. So we didn't have exact proof, but that's how we learn out the limud. Should we go ahead and start enforcing that and say, hey, this loan is not canceled, right? Just better off cancel the loan. So Amarlei, Tani Kavasi Demar, there's a Bryson Smart. So Amarlei, maybe that which says that it's not canceled, right? Because there's real estate, you don't need a crucible, it's not canceled at all. Maybe that was only part of the Beis Shammai, because you have a document, right, which basically allows you to go ahead and collect, as if it's already collected. So therefore, the real estate, only according to Beis Shammai, it's like the real estate was already collected, and therefore the Shemitah wouldn't cancel. But maybe according to Beis Hillel, it's not like that, and therefore maybe it's not collected. If it's not collected yet, then it's perhaps subject to cancellation on Shemitah. So Tan Hassan learn over there. Hamalvis Chaveru Moyis Alamashkan, he gives money Alamashkan with a collateral. The Hamayser Shtaroisa of the basin, or one who goes ahead and gives the loan document to Beis Din, Ein Mashmita, right? It does not get canceled, whether it's on a collateral, even this movable object of collateral. Or, right, I give you, hey, I need about $100. Okay, sure. What do you? I'll hold your watch until you pay me back. So neither of these are canceled by Shemitah. So Bishlam of Meister Shtaros of the base, and I understand the case when he handed.
The basement.
Now, one case is there was a loan document. The loan document was given to Basin. The other one, I just gave collateral. I gave Alan my watch, right, until I pay him back, right. So both of these are canceled. Two different cases, right. So I so it says Bishlam Meister Shtaros of the base that I understand the case of just giving my documents, or Alan when he gave the documents to Basin, the tops of the Beit Dina. Because now since he's giving to Basin, basically he's giving Basin the authority to collect a loan even without a crucible before the crucible issue came up, and therefore Basin is allowed to go ahead and collect. Just a person's not allowed to go ahead and press. So that makes sense. Ella Milva Al Mashko, but let's say I just gave him my watch. Then why is that not? Why is it not canceled? My time, what's the reason? Because he's holding on to it, right? It's like he already collected the loan. He's already got repaid by my watch. So I understand. So let's say Alan says, okay, I'll give you $100, but let me, live in your house until until you pay me back. So it's like he already collected the loan because he's getting payment back in free living. So Shani Mashkon, the Kani Leben the Rabbi Yitzchak. Now maybe a Mashkon is different, right? Collateral is different from that which Rabbi Yitzchak taught. Why? How do we know that the person, let's say, borrows money and he gives something as a collateral, that the lender really sort of owns the collateral, right? While the loan is still outstanding. Right, so it says over there, if a poor person gives you collateral and his collateral, let's say, was his pajamas, right, and now he needs his pajamas at night, but he hasn't repaid you. How do we know? You have to go ahead and give him his pajamas so he can use it at night. So he made it kinda. So if I don't acquire the pajamas, right? Why is that a nice thing to do? It's his, right? Elamai, it must be when I'm holding the collateral. It's like it's mine. But be a nice guy and let him go ahead and wear his wear the pajamas at night. So Mekan, from here we see the Balchov Shekana Mashkan. From here we see that a Balchov acquires collateral. So maybe the collateral is different than just living in Machatzera. So Tanan Hasim, we learn over there Hamachzir Chayiv Lechavero the Shvis. So what? Say I go ahead, I borrow the money from Alan and it's Shemitah, and I give him the money. Here's $100 or after Shvis, right? Serch Sheyomer Loi Meshamet Ani. So Meshamet, right? Ani. Or now he says, what he should say to me, hey, I canceled the loan. I'm not collecting the loan. You can't give him $100. But if I say back to Alan, right? No, please take it. I know officially it's canceled. Fine. Take the money. He should take it, right? He should take it from him. He's allowed to take it. It's not an issue. It's not an isser. Shinamaz Pasuk says, "V'zeh davar hashmita," right? In other words, he says it from Dibur, like he says it. Nevertheless, you can take it. In other words, he can't force. Right? He can't force me in this case. Say, hey, you have a loan that's due. Pay me the loan. That he can't take the money. But if he says, hey, the loan is canceled, and I say, look, take it anyways. I want to do the right thing. Then he can take it.
Consider to the giver it's tzedakah.
It's a matana. It's a matana. So Amar Rabba Vitali, and I not only that, Vitali Adam Arhaki, and says now he can sort of force him. Alan says you don't have to pay me. I said okay, good. I start turning around, and he pulls me by the shirt. I know it's canceled, but so you're allowed to go ahead and do that until I say, oh, take it as a gift, right? I can't pay him he can sort of force me to say take it as a gift. All right. Now the Gemara is going to ask a couple cases on this. So Esvei Abaye Kshu Naisin when he gives him Al Yomer Loi B'Chayvi Ani Naisin Lecha Ela Yomer Loi Shalihei Umatana Ani Naisin Lecha. Right? So it says over there that he shouldn't say, hey, I'm giving it to you as the obligation. Rather, I'd say, hey, it's really mine. The Torah cancels the loan, but I can give it to you anyways. So it's only in this case, not where he's forced. Maybe maybe it means that he's forced, right? Until he says, hey, it's not mine, but take it as a gift. And Abba Bar Mazahat so Abba Bar Marsa, who Abba Bar Menume, he was called both, right? Abba Masya, then he was called Abba Bar Menume. Havi Matzig Bey Rabba Zuze. So he had so he borrowed money from Rabba. He had Rabba's money by him. So I seen it in Ilay B'Shvis. So he brought, we're on the top of Lyman Zion of Bez, right? So he brought the money during Shemitah back to Rabba, or right after Shemitah, because it's at the end of Shemitah when he gets canceled. So he brings it to him. So Rabba says, "Meshamadini," right? I can't. The loan is canceled, right? I canceled the loan. So Abraham Yumi says, "Okay, great." Shakin of Yosel. So he says, "Okay, have a good day." So also Abaye, and so Abaye found Rabba Shachid to have Yotzev. He said he was sad. What's wrong? Amalei, my Yotzev. Why are you sad? So Amalei, so he told him what happened. I lent out a lot of money, and all of a sudden I told him it was canceled. He says, "Okay, good. He never paid me back." So also Lagabe, so he went to this to Abraham Yumi. Amalei, Amatulei Zuze Lamar. Right? Did you go ahead and bring money to Mar? Samarlei, yes, Samarlei. And what happened? And it's Samarlei, my Amarlechan. So what did he say to you, right? When he tried to give him the money? Samarlei, Meshamadini. He said, it's canceled. Rabbi told me it was canceled. Samarlei. So then Abai said to Abraham Yumi, Vamartele, Afapichein. And he said, okay, nevertheless, take it as a gift. Samarlei lo. He says, no, I didn't do that. No, he told me it was canceled, so I walked away. Samarlei, Viamartele, Afapichein, Havia Shaklina Minach. He said, if you would have told him, nevertheless take it as a gift, he would have taken it. He needs that money. So maybe you should go there. Maybe it's a good idea to go back to him now and say, you know what, take the money back, take it as a gift. So Azel, so he went. He approached him. He says, nevertheless, hey, I know the loan was canceled. You told me, yesterday, but maybe take this money as a gift. And Rabbi took it. And a little parting shot. I guess he didn't have the das. This Supreme Rabbana and our Menume did not have the chachma to really see into the case that he should have said this yesterday. Of when I said the loan was canceled, he should have said, nevertheless, take it as a gift. And I'm Rabbi Yehuda Rav Nachman, Neman Adam Leima Pruzbel Havi Biyadi V'Avid Mimeni. A person's allowed to say there was a Pruzbel, right? In the case of the Allen, he says, I had a Pruzbel, I just don't know where it is, but I lost it, so therefore you still have to pay it. So my time, what's the reason? So I came to the Rabbanan Pruzbel, since the Rabbanan were Masakin, he decreed a Pruzbel, people have an easy way to go ahead and collect loans, they might as well do it the permissible way and not the forbidden way. And Kiyosel come into Rav, for Rav Amarle, Midi Pruzbel Havi Lecha. Do you have a Pruzbel? No, excuse me. Amarle, Midi Pruzbel Havi Lecha V'La'avad. Right? Now, maybe you say like this: did you have a Pruzbel? Lost it. And this is a way, basically, that you open up to a blind person. In other words, a person doesn't know, says, "Oh, I approach Alan, says, hey, did you have a Pruzbel and you lost it?" And Alan goes, "Sure," right? And therefore, he's able to go ahead and collect it.
Well, wait. The Pruzbel has to be done in front of Bezdin.
Okay.
Maybe. Couldn't they have the Pruzbel?
They couldn't find it. You don't locate the Bezdin right now. Not every loan is collected. Right.
1,000 Pruzbel.
I'm saying, right. Not everything is, the loans don't have to be repaid in Bezdin. You know what I'm saying? So it's a big tircha to go ahead and, get schedule a case and come in and maybe they're out of town, Right. So Taran v'chein Baal Chov shemaitzi shtar chayv ve'enim ha'pruzbel so to a Baal Chov. Where's his money? He takes that shtar chov. Says, pay me ve'enim ha'pruzbel. So pruzbel with it harei el lo yifru. These you don't pay. So you see over here that you don't pay, and the other one you say, well, if you had a loan, it must have been that you lost it. So the Gemara answers, no, tonight's Machlas. Tonight you mean the tiny we're going to Bryce. Pruzbel has to have a Pruzbel with it. You don't need because it assumed that there was a Pruzbel with it because since the Rabbanan were Masaki, a way to go ahead and fix it. So therefore he went that route and just has lost it. Fine. Anaya Mishnah. Mishnah says, completely different case, Eved Shenishba Ufaduhu. So you had an Eved Kanani that he was taken captive, and somebody else, not Master A, right? Well, there's A and B. Actually, Master 1 and 2. He belonged to Master 1, and somebody else went ahead and redeemed him. So Im L'Shum Eved, if he went ahead and ransomed him to become an Eved, then Ishtabed, he remains a slave. But if you ransom from the Goyim, right, who captured him, then Ben Chayrin, then he is free. Lo Yishtabi, right? Then he is not, he's a free man. No, either way, whether he ransomed him for Avdus or for freedom, either way, right, he's still enslaved. Okay, he's still Eved Kanani. All right, so the machlokes between Rav Shimon Gamliel and the argument is, if he goes ahead and ransoms him for the sake of to be free, right? The Chachamim say he is free, and Rav Shimon Gamliel says he's still a slave. Now, but my askina, what's the case over here? What do you mean? If it's before Yeush, before a person gave up hope. Now, a person has an object and he gives up despair of ever recovering it. And in many situations, now that item is hefker and basically free. So basically, owner 1. His slave was taken captive. He says, I'll never see him again. All right, I'm going to write off the expense, right, for the slave. So she gave up hope, right? So if it was before he gave up hope, even if he went ahead, right? If it was before, so now he didn't have Yeush, right? So even if he captured for free, right? He should belong to the original guy because he didn't give up hope. He still hope he's great, you ransom my guy, but he's still my guy, it's not yours. Let's say maybe he already had Yehush. If that's the case, even if this guy ransomed him to become his slave, right? Why should he be enslaved to him? Once his owner 1 had Yehush, so then the guy should go free. So I'm going to buy two. So we're going to have two theories. So I'm going to buy Li'elam Lefnei Yehush. Really, it was before Yehush, right? So it was before you never had Yehush. L'shum Eved Yishtabed, and that which we say, if it was when the guy ransomed him, right? Shimon ransomed him. L'shum Eved Yishtabed the Rabba Rishon. And when he ransomed him, he goes back to his owner because there was no Yehush. He goes back to Reuven, who was master number 1. And the Shum Bein Chayrin, and therefore in this case, if he did it for free, lo yishtabed, it means that he's not. If he did it for free, lo yishtabed lo the Rabba Rishon, lo the Rabba Shein, right? Then he's not. He does not go to either one of them. Why?
Who has the Yeush? The guy who owns the slave?
The owner, the slave owner.
The slave,
Yeah, the slave owner.
the
Right.
slave that's going.
Right, exactly, right. So he's his item, right? So good question. So I'm about the Rabbi the Rabbi. So Rabbi Rishon is, and then if it's l'shum ben chayrin, then if it's for the sake of freedom, right? Then lo yishtabi lo the Rabbi Rishon lo the Rabbi Sheni. The Rabbi Sheni lo to the second guy is not free to haul l'shum ben chayrin parking because when he ransomed him, he ransomed to go out free. So obviously he wouldn't belong to the guy number two. And the Rabbi Rishon, and I to the first master you never had Yehush. Namilo, why is that? Perhaps if he gets ransomed, right, and he doesn't go free, right, then maybe maybe they wouldn't ransom him. So therefore, they don't do it. Either way, he gets he's still enslaved. As just like there's a mitzvah to go ahead and ransom regular Jews, so too there's also a mitzvah to go ahead and ransom an Eved Kanani, right? He has to do certain mitzvahs while he's by his master, so therefore you have to ransom him. So therefore, if there was, according to Gamliel, right, either way, since there was no Yeush here, therefore he belongs to master number one. And Rava Ma'aliyela, really, the owner gave up hope. So, and therefore, so how do you understand the Chachamim? The Shum Eved, if they ransom him to become an Eved, Yishtavi the Rabbi Sheni. In other words, they ransom him from the Goyim to become their own slave. So therefore, they acquired him because he acquired something which was an object that its original owner had Yeush. And the Shum Ben Charan, if people number two go ahead and ransom him for his freedom, Lo Yishtabe, then he's not at all. Lo the Rabbi Rishon, not to the first guy, but lo the Rabbi Sheni, not to the second guy. Lo the Rabbi Sheni, lo Dalashim Ben Chayrin, right? Parkade, not to the second guy because he went ahead and he ransomed him so he can go free. And the Rabbi Rishon, not Namilo, and also he doesn't go back to the first guy. Why? To Hol Achar Yeush, because we said this is after Yeush, he goes free. And Rabbi Shimon Gamliel Leimer, Ben Kachu, Ben Kach, Yishtabed, either way, he is enslaved. Why is that? Kedechizkiah, right? Like the Svar of Chizkiah, Demer Chizkiah, Mipnei Ma Amru Ben Kachu, Ben Kach, Yishtabed, right? Either way, he should be enslaved. Shelo Yechad, Avechad, Hailech, Umapio Atzma, Legaisus, Mafkil Yatzmo, Miyad Rabbo. Because what's going to happen? If they know, right, that if they run away, and the owner most likely is going to give up hope. So therefore, if someone ransoms them, they'll be free. So everyone's going to run away and say, "Hey, well, don't you guys need, some sort of, prisoners? Come take me. I know they're going to go ahead and ransom me out, and then I'll be free." So therefore, in such a case, that's the reason because he might do that. Therefore, he doesn't go free. According to Shimon Gamliel. So Meisvei, one final question. So Gamliel responded, right, in the conversation that we just explained. There was Abaye and Rava. So Abaye had this exact response of Rav Gamliel when they responded to the Chachamim who to the first sheet. It says Rav Gamliel, Kashem Shemitzah Livtais has been a Chayrin, Kach Mitzvah Livtais is Avadin. As far as just like there's a mitzvah to go ahead and ransom regular people, there's also a mitzvah to go ahead and ransom slaves. So therefore, he's going to be a ransom, even though, right, they're not going to go ahead and get him now as acquire him as a slave. So this works well according to Abaye, who says that we're talking about a case of before Yeush, Hainu to come Kashem, because that's the reason why they say that they have to go ahead and ransom anyways, even though he'll go back to the original master. El Rav, but according to Rav, who says we're talking about a case of Yeush, Hi Kashem, is that Rav Shimon Gamliel's svara of they never go free because of this. We said Chizkiah. We said according to Chizkiah, the reason is that they always remain enslaved is because people will always just go ahead and get themselves captured. So we don't want that. So that's according to Rav, that should have been the response of Shimon Gamliel. Rav Shimon Gamliel. They didn't know what the Rabbanan held was the case. This is what they said to Rabbanan. If you guys are talking about a scenario when it was before Yeush, right? Hainu Kashem. Then you could say if it was before Yeush, in other words, he still held on. So therefore, we say no. You still people are obligated to go ahead and redeem him, and therefore they redeem him, and he goes back to owner A. And Iliyachar Yeush, but if it was after the Yeush, right, then Kamisu, then that's when they said Kidachizkiah. That's when they said like Chizkiah, who said that if if it was after Yeush, we don't want him to go free. Why? Because then everyone's gonna go ahead and get themselves captured. So therefore, that was the response. So that's how the answer knows whether you're talking about a case before Yeush or after Yeush. I have a reason why this person always remains a slave. All right, we'll stop here at Ula Rava. So tomorrow, Mitzvah Hashem, we'll continue from here. Everybody have a wonderful day.
What was the end about?